Maybe the next game we can play at is Goat Simulator.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to NFR. Tonight, SAFRL Tier 2. Of course, we had Tier 1 at this very circuit on Monday night, and it was quite the eventful race, to say the least. We get to do it all over again tonight. If you're waiting for qualifying to begin, there is no qualifying. We're going straight into a sprint race. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with the format, sprint race grid will be set by a reverse championship order. Then that sprint race will go on to form the grid for the feature race. There we go. Get your 5 red lights for the first time this evening. When they go off, we'll be underway. Not sure what happened there. We saw Stoffel at the front and then suddenly at the back. Well, we've got a caution flashing on our screens. I think we saw some cars already going off circuit. At the front, Loki leads the way, Maggot P2. Luckily the caution has now stopped flashing. Maggot P2, Top Gun P3, Boinkies. That bright green Sauber, difficult to miss. Looks like the Sauber took the practice Flovers a little bit extreme. Of course, Sauber uses a blue color for their practice sessions to make sure their aerodynamic parts are working. Green wouldn't be very helpful. Loki still leads from Maggot, Top Gun P3. Remember, this is a reverse championship order. We should have quick drivers coming through the field from the rear. The man right in the middle. In the midfield, he was in P6, he's lost the position, gone down to P7, Stoffel. Making up positions. This is, I think is Panda ghosting? I see a car ghosting, that's Panda. Panda ghosting, not a good sign early on in the race. Hopefully he can get back into that car. At the moment the car just falling down the order. Loki leads at the front, Maggot giving him all sorts of trouble. It's Mercedes power versus Mercedes power in the early stages. Top Gun not far behind in P3, Boinkies right there, knocking on the door of the podium finishes. Of course, this is just going to be a 9-lap shootout really. No pit stops needed unless you have damage to your car. Bring up your tire screen, but more softs than I expected. Monday night most of the field went with the medium. Just some telemetry up on your screen so you can see what these guys are up to. This is Maggot in P2. You can see Loki just ahead. Top Gun P3. You can see the leaders. I'm going to still very much in it. Pantry Star at the back of this now in P5. This DRS train is from P1 down to P5. Now Boinkies gets past. And he's going to want to come right back at that RB. Pantry Star, fastest lap of the race. He's down in P5. He's managed to set the fastest lap of the race. Stoffel P6, Rukwa P7, Chums P8, Gotsi P9. Don't think that Alpine is ghosting anymore, but Panda finds himself in P10. Not only is he going to have a difficult time to come back into this race, it also means that's where he will start in the feature race if he isn't able to find any sort of improvement. Since we were at the front, Maggot leads the way. Loki now in P2. Top Gun still holding station in P3. Boinkies still fourth, but now starting to come under pressure. Look at those tyre choices. You'll see Boinkis is the quickest driver on the soft tyre. So Loki leads the way from Maggot. Top Gun P3, Skull in the comment section and not seeming too impressed. Maggot holds on at the front. Frantic action all round. Cars going side by side. Cars going 3 wide briefly. Maggot still leads that trio. In fact, it's not a trio, it's a quartet. In fact, there's 5 cars, I just don't know what to call it. So let's leave it with a quartet. Still getting a glitch, not being able to get into the lobby. That's disappointing. No, it sounds silly, but if you have invites from different people, try from different people, sometimes that works. Sometimes leave the game completely and then try again. That sometimes works for us on a Friday night. Maggot in the front. Top Gun was in P3 for a long time, but now he's getting into this battle for the lead. Guys at the front, they cannot be separated. The top 5 still in the DRS train on lap 5 of 9. And if this is the sort of pace and the sort of driving we can expect for the feature race, it's going to be a good one. Of course, if you watched on Monday, well, it was a messy one. We had safety car after safety car. It took a really long time for the guys to get going, to get up to racing speed. For now, Maggot out front, Top Gun P2, Loki P3. Pantry Star still very close there to the top 3. Boinky's just starting to fall adrift a little. He's going to want to make the most of his next DRS zone and try and get closer to that battle. Then we've got Stoffel in P5. He's a little further back, 15 seconds adrift from that DRS train. Then we've got Rockwell, Chum, Spikes, Gotzi and Panda in P11. Another thing, Skull, if you're still with us, I hope you're still with us, but I think Monday we had to do a new lobby for the race, so if that's the same case tonight, maybe that invite will work. We've had a terrible spin. Top Gun is not going to be happy with that. He was up in the top 3 for the entirety of the race, 2/3 of the race so far, and now he's had a nasty spin. If that was contact, we didn't see it. Maggot in P3, Pantry Star now in P2. He was the car in P4, so he's made up a few positions. Top Gun's the one that went backwards. Red Bull going backwards, RB going forwards. You don't hear that every day. Loki out front. He's led this race for the most part, losing the lead occasionally to the likes of Maggot, but now he's got the lead. Pantry Star is now in P2, Maggot P3, and Boinky's trying to get onto that podium. Interesting, Boinky started on the soft. Wonder how those tyres are going to feel on the last 2 laps of the race. Of course, he does have a decent lead to Top Gun, so I think P4 would be pretty safe for him. just the one penalty on our screens, and it's a 3-second penalty. That's for Rukwa. We saw a lot of penalties on Monday night as well. A lot of them had to do with those safety cars just at the restarts. Guys speeding under the safety car, getting drive-throughs. Some of the guys speeding in the pit lane, getting 10-second penalties. Yeah, there we go, just confirmation. There will be a second lobby, so Skull, you can just join on that second lobby. You're just going to have to start from the rear of the field. Pantry Star, your new leader. Loki P2. It's only a few laps to go, but this could come down to who's there in P2 on the final lap. You can make that pass on the final DRS zone and the other driver doesn't have a chance to come back. Almost like oval racing. You're really close to the leader. You don't necessarily want to be in the lead on that last lap. But DRS, well, in India it's about slipstream. In F1 it's about DRS. You can see these top two, they've just dropped Maggot off now. Maggot 1 second back, so he's fallen out of DRS. But these two, very much in a battle. Loki tries to retake the lead. Goes to the inside of the corner. Pantry Star gets a much better run around the outside. Retakes the lead of the race. Loki was in front for just a little, but now he's coming under pressure. All sorts of pressure. Maggot coming back at him. Boinky's coming back at him. As a result of that overtake and just that loss of momentum, it's allowed those cars that were starting to fall back to come right back into it. So in the beginning of the race, for the longest time, we had a battle between 5 cars. We have a battle between 4 cars at the end of the race. It's been action from beginning to end. So Skull will be starting to turn his attention to that feature race. How's he going to approach the race? He's going to have to start from last place. I presume that's going to be P12, so the back of the 6th row. He's going to have an opportunity to play with his strategy, maybe do something different, go longer into the race. Maybe go on softs, try and get the best start possible. Maybe go on hards and go as long as you can. Waiting for a safety car, anything can happen. And if you watched Monday night, anything can happen. Just to share the Murray Walker quote that I shared with Panda a little earlier on. Anything can happen in F1, and it usually does. This is lap 9 of 9. This is the final lap. Pantry Star seems to have it sewn up for now. Loki in P2, Maggot P3. It's right on board with the man in P2. Just to get so close to some of these walls. If you want to be quick, if you want to be competitive, and if you want to win one of these races, you have to drive to the ultimate edge. Look how close he gets to the wall on the inside. I suppose that's my problem. I don't even want to climb on the curb. Look at this. It can go wrong so quickly. Pantry Star doing a good job for now. Let's see if Loki's got anything left in the tank. There goes the DRS, you can see it just open. He's going to get really close. He's going to get more than close. He's going to get alongside. And he gets the outside of the corner. He's going to get the better run on the exit. Let's see, where is Pantry Star? He's actually lost the position. He's lost the position in the very closing stages of the race. Maggot goes through into P2. Pantry Star ends up in P3 after leading a majority of the final lap. A little further down, Boinkies comes in P4, just waiting for Rukwa, who is still deciding if he's going to be 5th or 6th. This is a battle between Rukwa and Stoffel. And Stoffel comes off second best, straight into the wall. He's not going to be happy with that. Just a few meters to go in this Grand Prix, and he finds himself retiring. Rest of the cars now coming over the line. We're just waiting for Gotzi and Panda. I think that car is either ghosting, or it was ghosting at the start of the race. So of course when this race completes, you're going to see a whole bunch of notifications on the bottom of your screen, people leaving the lobby. But don't worry, that's not a lobby crash, this is done on purpose. So we will start a new lobby for the feature race. Just wait for those official results. Maggot gets driver of the day. He's a deserved driver of the day. And there we go. Everyone is leaving, so we shall do the same. Of course, you can stay with us. The stream will continue. We don't break up the stream every time the lobby does. Try keep it as one long stream. Of course, sprint race on Monday night, that wasn't really the problem. The problem came in the feature race. That's where we got all the safety cars. That's where we got all the madness. In fact, at one stage, well, there was so much wrong with that race. I mean, you can go back and look at the stream, specifically where the 5 red lights go out in the feature race. A message pops up on the top of the screen saying DRS enabled. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Another weird thing we saw was under one of the safety cars. It didn't say safety car. It said virtual safety car, while the actual safety car was on track. Very confusing. Never fault EA in giving us a few unwanted additions to the game. Let me know, what do you guys think of the race? From what we saw in the sprint race, the sort of pace we saw in the sprint race, do you think we're just going to see a repeat of that in the feature race? Remember, the feature race, it's a different story. Feature race, it's a little bit more complicated. Of course, you're going to have a pit window, you're going to have a strategy, you're going to have to use more than one compound of tyre. And more importantly, the race is much longer. That's where mistakes can creep in. Again, if you didn't watch that Monday race, we had a lot of penalties, 10-second penalties, drive-through penalties. Some drivers accumulating corner cutting penalties almost up to 12 seconds before they retired. So penalties, you wouldn't think corner cutting is a thing at a street circuit. Saudi's a little different. It's longest street circuit on the calendar. Belgium is the longest at just over 7 kilometers, but longest street circuit 6.1 kilometers, and a lot of that is flat out. So the drivers have to do so much work at this circuit, 27 corners around 6.1 kilometers, and it's high speed stuff, just driving right up against the barriers to use all of the racetrack, but not touch those barriers. And over a distance of 25 laps can be quite challenging. Remember, the sprint was just 9 laps, no pit stops needed, no strategy needed. How many safety cars did we see on Monday? I think it was 4 safety cars and 1 virtual, and of course one of those full course safety cars said virtual safety car. So I was commentating completely wrong for about a lap and a half. Really, things being broken in the F1 game is, well, it's nothing new. In fact, sometimes you look forward to seeing what they'll mess up next. In the words of Lando Norris,
Come on, it's broken! It's broken!
it's broken, it's broken. The race on Monday night actually did pretty well in the views, so thanks to all who watched, thanks to all who hit that like button. Really helps us out when you do. Video got, I think it was 110 views over the course of the night. So when I checked it on Tuesday morning, it was on just over 100. So thanks to everyone who watched, everyone who contributed. We're now just awaiting the start of the race. Of course, there's a little bit of work to do in the lobby. Guys have to set up the starting grid according to the order we saw in the sprint race, and then we can get going. Bringing up the main screen there so you can see who's there and who's not. Looks like we've got 13 people, but Big T and Mr. M haven't decided what they're doing. They're obviously setting up the lobby. When we do get going, going to be an interesting one. Of course, how it would usually work is we'd be in a single lobby and the race would get started pretty quickly after the end of that sprint race. When we have a lengthy break, it's very important for the drivers to keep their concentration. So easy to get distracted while you sit quietly looking at your screen for what seems to be a little too long. Maybe your head begins to wander, and if that's the case, you shouldn't be at a street circuit. That's the last place your mind should be wandering. Seems like there is 11. Skull is in the lobby, so that is good news. He couldn't get in earlier. You can see on the right hand side, all the green means the drivers are getting ready. Just waiting for a few. And if they don't ready up, then we're waiting for the timer. So now we get to do it all again. So if you feel like your sprint race didn't go very well and you should have done better than that, well, here's your opportunity. And of course the points, they count for a lot more in the feature race. 25 points for a victory. Of course, if you take the fastest lap, you can turn that into 26. Another thing very important for the drivers, if they are listening, lots of times when you have a break in the lobby, guys simply forget to put their setup on the car. They think they're under park for May and jump into the race with a default setup. I have seen it before. And I've heard the complaints as well. Guys will be thinking about, if they watch, they'll be thinking about Monday night, those multiple safety cars. Do they underfuel? It's a dangerous track to underfuel at. There's a lot of long straights where you running full throttle. Really don't want to be doing any sort of fuel management towards the end of the race. No red lights, just the green light. That means we are going for a formation lap. Opportunity for everybody just to get a feel of the car with its full fuel tank. Get some temperature into the tires, some temperature into the brakes. And of course, don't make contact with anybody. You won't get damaged or you won't retire, but you will get sent back to your grid spot. And you're going to wait an awfully long time for these guys to get around the 6-kilometer circuit. I want to head off into turn 1 with cold tires and cold brakes. So some will think the formation lap is a little useless. It's really not. Bringing up the Death Queen saying, yes, we are missing Gotzi. I noticed that. I was expecting there to be 12 drivers. There's still 11, so we've gained 1 and lost 1. Gotzi not joining us for the feature race, it seems. Looking at the tyre compounds, Ian just asking who's starting on what tyre. You can see most of the field looks like they are starting on the medium tyre. That's Loki, Maggot, Chums, Ruckwa, Top Gun, Panda and Skull. All of those drivers, they're starting on the medium. Then Pantry Star and Spikes have chosen the hard compound. And then Boinkies and Stoffel going the other way, choosing the soft compound. The majority of the field thinking the medium is the right choice. Saw Boinkies do that in the sprint race. He made that soft last the entirety of the race, while a lot of the field went on the medium. Spike's disqualified, but that is obviously just a parking error from the driver. Terrible camera angles in this game continue. 5 red lights, they go out, and we get underway. Can we get a better look? There we go. McLaren into turn 1, comes out of turn 1 in the lead. Then he's followed by an RB. That's the RB of Pantry Star. Loki in P3, Ruckwa P4. He's followed by the two Salbers, Boinkies and Chums, P5 and 6. Then Top Gun in P7. Maggot's taking the lead of the race at the front, has he? I see cars switching around. Rather, that was Pantry Star falling down the order. Then Skull. He's made up 1 position since the start of the race. Looks like Stoffel is ghosting. That's right. We have a Mercedes in the early stages of this race, ghosting at the rear of the field. At the front, Maggot leads the way. Loki P2, Pantry Star P3. Seems like Deja Vu just got finished with the sprint race, and these were the very same men in the action. Actually looks like a repeat of it. This is Boinkies all over the back of the second McLaren, the McLaren of Ruckwa. The other McLaren up in the lead. And he's actually opened up a nice lead early on in the race. Look at that, 1 second already. So if he manages to break DRS in these early stages, it could be very beneficial. Let's go Skull, let's go Spikes. Support in the comment section. Skull didn't have the sprint race he would have wanted because he didn't have a sprint race. But he has joined us for the feature race. Started from P11, he's made up 1 position up into P10. But at the front, Maggot, Loki, Pantry Star, Boinkies and Ruckwa. Said Maggot was getting away a bit, he just broke that DRS, but Loki's been able to respond, brought him right back into DRS, just 0.6 of a second, the gap between the two. Now Pantry Star, the one that's fallen off slightly. Possible strategies, we're looking at a 1-stop or a 2-stop. Of course, if safety cars become an issue, all of that will change. Pantry Star defending from Boinkies. The second Salber has actually dropped off, was running just behind Boinkies, but he's now down in P9, starting to come under pressure from Skull. So there are battles all around the field. Look at this battle. You don't get much closer than that by still holding on to your front wing. It's so important to hold on to your front wing at this circuit. Did they make contact? It looks like they did. Ferrari goes to the outside of the track. Let's see if we can get a better view of the Ferrari, if there was any damage. Just seemed like there was a bit of a touch. Loki over the line. Fastest lap of the race so far. Let's see if we can just get a look at that Ferrari. Seems to have all of its end plates and its wing intact. That will be the most important thing. Now he wants to get up the field. His next opponent will be his teammate. Ian saying that the tyre temperatures are a issue at this circuit under the safety car. Tyres get very cold, and then we have messy restarts. In fact, we saw that on Monday. The safety car would end, and within half a lap it would come out again, and in fact that happened twice. We've gotten further into the race than we did on Monday without any sort of interruption. It's lap 3 of 25. Loki leads the way from Maggot. Gap 4/10 of a second at the front. Boinkies, he's done well, got himself up into the podium positions. Pantry Star going backwards at the start of the race. I wonder if he's got any sort of damage or if that's just his tyres. I think that's what it could come down to. Remember, these drivers are so close in pace that if you're on the slower compound, it becomes very evident. Pantry Star, he's quicker than that, but at the moment he's in P4. He's going to have to wait for these runners ahead of him to start having tyre issues. Of course, the softer the compound, the quicker it will go off. And we've had our first retirement. And there it is, the wheel's still bouncing around on top of the car, thanks for the halo. Otherwise that tyre would have hit him multiple times in the helmet. Maggot becomes the first retirement, and we've got our first safety car. Welcome to Jeddah. So we are under full safety car conditions for the first time this evening. We were just talking about half a lap ago about tyre temperatures being an issue under safety car. Tyres getting very, very cold. Could be an issue for the drivers, especially the drivers on hards at the restart. I said the softer the compound, the quicker it goes off. Well, the harder the compound, the longer it takes to get tyre temperature into it. So Boinkies will have a good position there at the restart. He's going to restart from P2 on a set of softs. What this will also do is just extend the life of the tyre a little bit. If you were going to take that to about lap 9, now you can probably take it to lap 10 or 11. Of course, Formula 1 tyres are built and designed to work at intense speeds. When you're driving around like this, these tyres, they're not even awake. The tyres, the brakes, all of those aerodynamic bits, they only come alive at speed. When we get going again, Loki will lead us at the restart. He's going to have Boinkies right behind him on a set of softs. So it could be interesting to see what happens between those two into turn 1. Pantry Star in P3, he's on the hards. So I wonder if those hard runners, Spike's also on the hards. Wonder if they might just have a difficult time, at least for the first half a lap or so, before they can start feeling comfortable on those hards. Because you get so close to the barriers, you go at such intense speeds on this circuit, you need to have full confidence that those tyres are going to give you the grip you expect them to give you. If you don't have the confidence in those tyres, you might just tiptoe a little around turn 1 and 2, and that would cost you a position or two. Means with the 1 retirement, you just have 10 in the field. Definitely worthwhile trying to get your car to the checkered flag. Guaranteed points on the evening. Everyone who manages to see the checkered flag will pick up points this evening. And of course, if you do get the fastest lap, you're guaranteed a point because you will finish in the top 10. Of course, getting that fastest lap from outside the top 10 does not secure you the extra point. Another factor to remember is if we have as many safety cars as we did on Monday, even if they're a little more spread out, and even if we just have a second safety car at the end of the race, it's going to be so important for the guys to keep that penalty column as it looks now. You don't want penalties next to your name, especially in a field that is so close. And if a safety car does bring everybody together and you're sitting on a 6 or 9 second penalty, it's really going to hurt. Of course, the drivers just need to be careful at the restart. We saw some messy issues on Monday night. Guys getting drive-throughs. Speeding in the pit lane is no longer a 5-second penalty. You get 10 in one go. Safety car in this lap. All the weaving, getting temperature into those tyres. Don't want to weave right into a wall, got to be careful. I've seen that happen too. Safety car drives off into the distance. You can see him there on the top right. He's entering the pits. And there are your leaders coming around the final corner. It's going to be up to Loki when he goes. Of course, there can be no overtaking until the start-finish line. He's right on the back of that Mercedes. He almost thought of lining him up into turn 1, then thought better of it, tucked in behind the Mercedes into turn 1. I think he's going to have the speed in these first few corners at very least. He's going to have to come at Loki now before those mediums come alive. I said Pantry Star might have a bad start because of those hards. Well, he's done very well. He's been able to hold on to that P3. Spike's been able to hold on to P4. So both those hard runners haven't lost any positions at the restart. But speaking of Spikes, he's coming under pressure from a Red Bull. Red Bull of Top Gun didn't have the sprint race he would have wanted, looking for a better result in the feature race. So he's going to want to get on with it. Then behind Top Gun, we've got Panda in the Alpine. Rukwa, the remaining McLaren. His teammates retired from this race. The one and only retirement from the feature race so far. Rukwa P7 Skull. The other Ferrari in P8. And then the field is made up by Chums and Stoffel. Loki leads the way, Boinky's P2, Pantry Star in P3. Almost looked like his race was going a little bit backwards, but he's been able to come back because of that safety car. DRS is enabled again. Guys can start to fight for positions, have some fun. Remember, you don't want to fall out of that DRS zone, especially on a circuit like this. You can't get past. At very least, you want to get towed around lap after lap until you can find that pass. The moment you fall out of DRS, that becomes a little more impossible. Stoffel is ghosting at the rear of the field. So that driver in P10 is not in his car, so we only have 9 drivers in the field at the moment. Loki thought that Twinkies might get the jump on him. With that soft tyre, it seems like Loki's got past the worst and that medium has come alive. He's actually just broken the DRS barrier, just gone over the 1 second mark there now between Loki and Boinkies. That's at the front. Pantry Star It's the final, on the final podium step. He's going to have to fight for that podium step. He's got a Ferrari behind him and a Red Bull behind the Ferrari. And we see early stages, lap 9. That was the entire distance of your sprint race. This is Skull on the back of the McLaren. Did they make contact? Ooh, and we see a Salber going off. Hopefully that doesn't cause anything. He's able to get going. Yes, he is. Oh, he spins it again. And he has got going. Didn't get a virtual safety car, and luckily we didn't get a full safety car. We have seen it in the past. Sometimes there is no crash. It's just the driver who's not able to get going in time or triggers the safety car. We once saw it in Monaco. Was it Monaco? It wasn't Monaco, it was Monza, where a car actually got beached on a curb and it caused the safety car. So Loki leads the way. Wanky's P2, Pantry Star P3. This is the battle for P7, Rockwell versus Skull, McLaren versus Ferrari. One of the McLarens already out of this race. Skull's teammate still very much in this race. He's actually just gone up into P3. And back into P4. Can't really tell who's where. Cars going side by side. And now Spikes looking for a way through. Havoc all around him, and while he's trying to keep his front wing in one piece, lands up losing a position. Top Gun now up into P4. Had our second retirement. Let's see if that car is still on track. We'll ride with Stoffel. Stoffel's just gone past the incident and we didn't see the car, so one of the Ferraris has retired. That's the Ferrari of Spikes. Spikes now out of this race. One McLaren gone, one Ferrari gone. It's only lap 10 of 25 and hopefully the retirements slow down. We saw more of this on Monday night, much of the same. Guys not really able to get into a rhythm, and then that safety car just comes out again. At least we've got spectacular helicopter shots of the Saudi Arabian circuit. Of course, there is a new one under construction as we speak. Formula 1 will then move to the new circuit. Saudi Arabia are actually really hoping to keep this one too. If you didn't know, there's actually a rule in F1. The country can't have more than one Grand Prix, but there's such a silly loophole. Just call it something else. So technically you can only have one Italian Grand Prix, and that's why we only have one Italian Grand Prix. It's at Monza. The other Grand Prix in Italy, well, it's called the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. So if Saudi Arabia do get their way, you're probably going to have the Saudi Grand Prix and the Jeddah Grand Prix. We're under safety car conditions, and as you can see, the pits are a busy place. Of course, now anybody who got damage, they can join the back of the queue, have another go. As you can see, most of this field's chosen to come in and change their tyres. Loki, fresh set of hards. Pantry Star, fresh set of softs. Then Boinky's Top Gun and Skull have all gone for new hard tyres. Rockwell, new set of mediums. Panda has 2 lap old mediums. I think that may be because he fit under the previous safety car. We got Stoffel. Can't tell if that car's ghosting or not. Now it doesn't look like it's ghosting. Stoffel P8. And then Chums. We saw him have the nasty spin. And it took him more than once to get it back on circuit. So he's in P8. P9 rather. 9 drivers remain in the field this evening. We are not yet at halfway distance. Of course, if you want to see a Grand Prix with so many retirements, you're not going to see one better than Monte Carlo 1996. Four cars finished that race, 3 of them on the lead lap. And Olivier Panis would go on to win his one and only Grand Prix. To give you an idea of how crazy that race was, it started with Michael Schumacher's retirement on the formation lap, where he simply aquaplaned into a wall. If you just joined us, we are under safety car conditions for the second time this evening. We're now approaching halfway distance in this race. Drivers will be hoping for a much more plain sailing second half of this race. First half of the race has been difficult. We've had the 2 safety cars. It just breaks the driver's rhythm. Don't want to be doing this. You want to be going according to your strategy, getting the most out of the car, trying to build a gap. And like I've said many times before, if you're one of the drivers at the back that didn't expect to win this race, you'll love these. But if you're at the front and you've got the pace and you're trying to build a gap, well, you'll curse the safety car every single time it comes out. So when I'm in the car, I love to see the safety car. When I'm in the comms box, not so much. Safety car in this lap. Loki will lead the way from Pantry Star. Boinkies, he will now be in P3 with a hard set of tyres. Last time round he got the restart with a soft set of tyres. So he's going to have to be wary of that as he heads off into turn 1. It'll be the first time he's got that hard tyre on the car in the race, so when he gets to turn 1, might feel a little different. Can't commit as if it's a soft compound. Loki, Pantry Star, Boinkies, Top Gun, Skull, that is your top 5. And we head off into turn 1 and hopefully no madness. Selber, looks like he's retained P2, he does. Pantry Star P3, Top Gun P4. Ruckler's made up a position up into P5, Skull down 1 into P6. Just a busy restart. Panda down in 7th. Then we have Stoffel and Chums making up the field. At the front, Loki trying to get away, trying to build a gap. Boinky's just behind him. Same strategy, both of them on a set of hards, same age. And then Pantry Star in P3, well, he's on a very different strategy. Only he knows what his strategy is. I can only assume he's gone on the soft, and he's hoping for either he's going to take that soft to the very end and prove me wrong, or he's hoping for a late safety car. You let me know in the comment section. Ian, let me know in the comment section. You guys know you spend a lot of time out on track. Let me know, softs all the way to the end. Is it possible? Or will Pantry Star have to pit again? Is he waiting for another safety car? Hopefully it comes towards the end of the race. It's not going to help him much if it comes now. We've got a caution. Let's see if we can see what that is for. DRS is enabled, so we'll get going again. That was for Rakwa. Fortunately for him, the incident happened just before the pit entry, so he's going to be able to come into the pits, repair that damage, get back underway, possibly hope for another safety car so he can catch the queue. Rakwa has come into the pits, as has Chums. Both those drivers just not having the evening they would have wanted so far. One driver who's having the evening he would have wanted is Loki. He's out front, he's just not able to open a gap. Great to lead the race, but you wanna open up that gap. You don't want to be under pressure every single time you look in your mirrors. A track like this, so easy to make a mistake, and when your competitors are this close behind, making one mistake could cost you 3 positions. So you're in the front, but every time you look in your mirrors, you huff and puff. Now, Boinkies coming under pressure. He's going to look in the left mirror and the right mirror and see 2 completely different liveries. But luckily both of those cars just tuck in behind the Sauber once more. They're going to get DRS again. I think they could better utilize it this time round. Of course, Boinkies will also have DRS, and he's just taken the lead. Nicely done. Loki's lost 1 position, almost lost 2. Pantry Star wasn't able to get the car stopped, and Loki's going to want to come back immediately, but now he's still side by side with the RB. It looks like Pantry Star, we've had a retirement. It's a big retirement. It's a big retirement. Loki becomes the latest retirement in this race. We're down to, what is that, 8 runners. We're down to 8 runners, and we're under the 3rd safety car. Ian saying softs will be dead by lap 22. Well, this could change things. This could extend the life of the tyre, but I don't think it's going to extend the life of the tyre by 3 laps. Like I said, he would have been hoping for a safety car, but definitely not now. Would have been hoping for a safety car around about lap 20 of 25. That would have been perfect. But a safety car right now, when his soft tyres are still relatively fresh, I don't think that's going to help him too much. It's going to be interesting. Does he come into the pits, join the back of the queue, have a different strategy in mind, or is he going to try and take those softs right to the end? And if this race continues with its trend, then surely there'll be another safety car. If you were with us and you left and now you're back and you think, wow, this is a long safety car. No, it's not. It's just another. See a lot of locking up there just before the pit lane speed limit line. Guys, don't want to get that wrong. Penalties are worth 10 seconds now for speeding in the pit lane. Boinkies gonna lead the way. Panda P2, Stoffel P3, and then the rest of the field. The rest of the field from P4 down to P8. That's going to be Top Gun, Pantry Star, Skull, Chums, and Rakwa. All of those cars are on a brand new set of softs. So your leader, hard tyres, P2, P3, medium tyres, the rest of your field, brand new softs. So obviously just 9 laps to go. Some of those laps will still be under safety car conditions, so I think those softs will now get to the end. trying to commentate under safety car and not get distracted by the football, so I apologize for the occasional silence. It's the only time I do watch football. It's at the Euro and at the World Cup. Safety car is going to go around for another lap. We can see, what is that? That's a McLaren. Right at the rear of the field. He's only going through sector 2 on the previous lap, so he's going to take a little bit to catch up, but this is a long race circuit. Should be there by the end of the lap. Hopefully we can get going. It will be the start of lap 18 of 25. I mentioned it in the last broadcast, the safety car safe zone. That is obviously with 3 laps to go, you're safe from safety cars. It's not going to happen anymore. If there is a crash, the car will disappear from our screens. So that means up until lap 21, hopefully we have no more stoppages in the race. Well, they're not stoppages, they're disruptions. Rain at a cricket game, now that's a stoppage. J-Boy saying, do you think the softs will go to the end of the race? Well, you can see the guys there on the softs, they've only done 1 lap or 2 laps, and all of those laps would have been done under the safety car, so they wouldn't have been abusing those tyres, really taking anything out of those tyres. So I think by the time they do get going, it's probably going to be lap 18 of 25, and they're just going to have to do 7 laps on tyres that are pretty much new. Logic also just pointing out that softs can go a little bit further when you're much lighter, and wear out those softs earlier on if you use them early in the race. Confirmation, race control, safety car in this lap, and hopefully it's the last we see of the safety car in Jeddah. Seen enough of him since Monday. Safety car off into the pits. Boinkies starts to do his weaving. The Alpine just behind him. Panda, probably the strongest position he's been all evening, finds himself now in P2. How long is he going to be able to hold on to that P2? Because technically he's got the oldest tyres on the circuit. 9 laps old. So J-Boy is saying it comes down to a 5-lapper. I've actually said it before, I find it quite funny. You know, the guys prep for the race, they do their practice, they think what strategy are they going to do, what are they going to do, and then right at the end it comes down to a 5-lap sprint race. Who's winning? It was 0-0, and I've switched off the screen because of the distractions. There's only a few more laps to go, and then I'll catch up with the football. I'm very easily distracted. Boinkies leads the way. Pantry, I meant to say Panda in P2, Pantry Star P3. Some of the names that confuse me: Panda, Pantry Star, Top Gun. There's another one that's not here today. I think it's Top Dog. So Top Gun, Top Dog. There's a few names here that confuse me. Even Spikes and Skulls, sometimes I get them confused because they're both in Ferraris. J-Boy, when will you be driving again? In the comment section, you're not in the cockpit of the car. Why is that? It's great to have you in the comment section. Just wondering why I haven't seen your name on screen in a while. Boinkies leads on that hard tyre. The race has really fallen into his hands. Pantry Star in P2, but under all sorts of pressure. He's got Panda behind him. Skull looking to make up positions in this latter stages of the race. Look at him, he's in P4 fighting for a podium. Remember, there's only going to be a 5 or 6 lap race to the end here. You can absolutely drive those softs. Don't have to worry about tyre management. Shane. 1-0 to who, Shane? If that is correct, I might not even switch on my screen. J-Boy will be on track tomorrow night. Of course, we broadcast that race as well. DRS season 11 begins tomorrow night, and of course the race has changed from an 8 o'clock start to a 7 o'clock start. So if you usually tune in for that DRS race, keep that in mind. We are starting 1 hour earlier than usual, and the format will be a full qualifying session followed by a 50% race. Wouldn't mind seeing an event, even if it's a once-off event, where the guys have a go at 100% distance race with full qualifying. Have a lengthy night of racing. Heck, if there was a practice session, I'd broadcast it too. Just make a really long stream. Guys getting ready for qualifying, setting up the car, having qualifying and the race. The whole deal in one evening. I think it could be interesting. Of course, no logic, the race is not 100%. I don't think there is a 100% race. I'm saying I would like to see a 100% race, even if it's a once-off amongst one of these leagues, or maybe between the leagues. It would be an interesting event. But tomorrow is the start of DRS season 11, and I was just saying we're going to start an hour earlier. We can have full quali and a 50% race. No problem, Logic. Logic talking about we could do it for a Sunday. Well, this channel already has a broadcast on a Sunday, unfortunately. SKR at 6 PM on a Sunday. Right now, not sure if I want to take any more leagues on just yet. I'm in this room 5 nights a week now. At least one of those nights I'm driving. Shane's in the comment section, so he can tell you I'm driving, but I'm driving badly. Pantry Star is out front. He's got the soft tyre. Boinky's just behind him on the hard. Now it's really going to come into play. Will those softs fall off? If they do fall off, this race will come back to Boinky's. But it's crucial for him now to stay within DRS. If he lets Pantry Star get up the road and those softs do fall off, he may not be able to capitalize if the gap is already too big. J-Boy saying Saturday is unfortunately his drinking day. Well, that would be even more interesting. Everybody have a couple of drinks before a 100% race. Well, I don't think we'd even get to the checkered flag. Ah yes, Shane. I am Shane's teammate, but I'm very much, think of a Perez Max Verstappen situation. In fact, it's worse than that. It's like if you put, I'm sorry Logan, but it's like if you put Logan Sargent in the second Red Bull. Don't expect equal results. Thanks J-Boy, I'm glad you enjoy the streaming. Love having all the leagues together on one channel. Get to see the same names coming up in the comment section, the same people coming back to watch the videos. Of course, JPR on a Friday night has no broadcast at the moment. That's because I'm driving. And I wouldn't want anyone to broadcast my driving. I wouldn't call it a Gasly-Ocon relationship. I think Gasly and Ocon are still relatively close to each other in speed. They don't like each other and they're both French, so you can't understand what they're saying when they're swearing at each other. But they're still relatively close in speed. We're looking at Max Verstappen and then pick a random Formula 3 driver and throw him in the Red Bull one weekend. That's what would happen. Not just any Formula 3 driver, a pay Formula 3 driver. Don't think it could get much worse. Boinkies leads the way from Pantry Star and Panda in P3. But in reality, Shane and Red Bull knows the truth. I don't have the same car. I have the Perez model. And that thing doesn't work. Boinkies in the lead with those hards. Got to watch the gap. Is he able to get out of DRS? If he can get out of DRS, he can guarantee himself this win. But Pantry Star is not going to make it easy. 5/10 of a second, the gap between the top two, and then another 5/10 will get you to P3. And remember, Skull still very much in it. Any mistake up front, a podium is on the cards. We only have the one penalty on our screens. That's for Stoffel. I believe that was a 3-second penalty. That is like a Max, sort of like a Max and a Hamilton situation, because just like Shane, Max pretends to like Hamilton. If you're a Hamilton fan, I do apologize. Every now and then, something that shouldn't slips out. I've got some points, but call them charity points. Hopefully Shane wins for the rest of the season and I get my first Constructors' Championship. And I'll say it was all me. Pantry Star, gap 8/10 of a second. It's about as high as it's going to get, and then we get back into DRS and he's going to reel him back in, but is he too far behind to take the victory? Of course, it's lap 25 of 25, so this is going to be his final go at things. Pantry Star's going to pull it off, needs to pull it off now. They have dropped off Panda and Skull, so those cars aren't much of a risk to these two anymore. Look at this, he's getting closer, he's getting closer. Will he go for it? Not quite yet. Next time round. There is Pantry Star, there he is, he's going to open up DRS. You can see it on the rear wing. And it's not enough. It's not enough. It came too late, but fantastic racing between the two. Just 0.3 of a second between your leaders. Panda comes home in P3, and Skull so narrowly misses out on a podium. Stoffel comes over the line in P5. At one stage he was right at the back of the field, so we'll be happy with that result. Chums P8 also wasn't looking at points at a stage. Finished in P6. And then Rockwell also passed the checkered flag in P7, and we just await the Red Bull. I guarantee you even this Red Bull's better than mine. Panda takes driver of the day. But unfortunately, no points for driver of the day. Of course, to everyone who did watch the stream did pretty well tonight. We got quite a few viewers in here. And of course the Monday stream was also a really good one. Just going to wait a few moments, see if the guys do want to join the cool down room. If not, we're going to say our goodbyes. There we go, we do have one driver in the cool down room. So if you're listening to the stream, Panda, I'm about to bring you into the comms box. Just remember to mute your TV or your laptop so that you don't hear yourself in the background. Well, I was about to bring him into the cool down room and then he disappeared. So we'll give it a few more seconds, see if he does come back. But I want to thank everybody who's watched the stream tonight, everybody who's hit that like button. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It really helps out the videos. More people see it on their timeline. Makes a big difference. Go, we do have Panda back, so let's try bring him into the comms box once more. And there we go, I think Panda is in the comms box. So just need to unmute your mic, Panda. Let me just make sure that everyone at home can hear you. There we go, the Discord was muted. So welcome to Panda. Did you enjoy it? What a race. Got driver of the day. So got the extra point.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, it was a tough race. Look, I mean, these games are quite quick, and I had unfortunate, I think, 2 extra pit stops or whatever through the race. So yeah, it was a tough race. Glad I could at least get a P3 after last week's little bit of P7. But yeah, not a bad race at all.
Of course, when we get that many safety cars in a race, the race can go very badly for you, or well, it can go pretty well considering the circumstances. We saw some drivers right at the rear of the field coming back and scoring good points. I think Skull finished P4, started P11. So a race with safety cars, anything is possible.
Yeah, 100%. I think this race, the safety car actually helped me as well. So, yeah, I think obviously, like you said, safety cars can go either way. Luckily tonight, it went my way.
Yeah, no, I said in the stream as well that when the race is going your way, you're going to hate the safety car. When the race isn't going your way, every safety car gives you another chance. So drivers at the rear will appreciate it, drivers at the front won't.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, unfortunately, I saw Mag at DNF, and I think he and Loki as well. I think the safety cars didn't help them. So I think they'll be a bit unhappy. But yeah, like you said, can go either way.
Yeah, no, definitely. When do we see you on track again, Panda?
Well, we've got the DRS race tomorrow, so obviously we'll be on track tomorrow, and then obviously next week again.
Fantastic.
For
So
SAFRL.
Panda will be back on track tomorrow night. Season opener for DRS, season 11. And well, I hope all of you that tuned in today will tune in tomorrow, and hopefully Panda can go a few better and pick up a victory tomorrow. Feeling confident?
Yeah, Bahrain is not a strong track of mine, but we'll give it a shot. It's a new game. I see a lot of people are still getting used to it. So I think it's obviously who can adapt the best to the new game's handling, and then yeah. So not gonna say it's gonna win, but definitely a top 3.
I have a comment here for you, Panda, in the NFR comment section. Your voice is being compared to the voice of Graham Smith. So yes. So apparently,
I guess I'll take it.
So apparently you will sound quite good in a comms box. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's an open offer while you're here. If you ever wanna join in the comms box, if you ever wanna do commentary on a race, obviously there's 4 streams a week. You drive in 2 of them, I believe. So
yeah.
Tier 1 SAFRL, SKR Sunday night. If you ever want to jump in the comments box, you're more than welcome, and that's obviously an offer that is extended to everybody who's in the comment section. So if you'd like to have a session in the comments box, just let me know.
There we go. Yeah,
so,
I'll shout out, man.
Thank you to Panda, thank you to everyone who watched, and we'll be back tomorrow night with DRS, and if I don't see you then, I'll see you on Sunday for SKR. Until then, thank you everybody. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't done that already, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.